Good morning from beautiful Sedona, and today we're talking about the power of the present moment, or as I like to call it, the flow of now, because now is gone. Now is gone. It's gone. What about now? Well, it's gone. It's gone. Because there's a flow of now, right? So the power of the present moment is this flow of being present with exactly where you are.
It's really the only time. It's not really time. It's the only place you ever are, right? You're only in the now. Yet how much of our lives do we spend thinking about the past, or perhaps worrying about the future, or even thinking about the future? It doesn't have to be worrying about the future, but the past is gone. It's a memory. And every time you think of it, it's just the memory of the memory. So that also changes, especially to your narrative, your feelings around the situation. And then, the future is not yet happened. And how many things do we think about in the future that actually never happened? So we just dwindle away so much of this present moment. It really is eternal. It's infinite. It's now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange concept, right? This moment is eternal, mm-hmm. but it's really true if you think about it. I like to say if you have 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, you have nothing to stand on in this moment, mm-hmm. and so we collapse. We spend so much time being embarrassed. I can tell you that I can think of stories when I was in grade school that embarrass me to this day, right?
How accurate was your memory when you were in grade school?
Right.
Or think of the filter that we were experiencing that moment in.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So memories are not photographs. Mm-hmm. Memories are ever-changing mm-hmm.
Evolutions.
And we can, through being in the present moment, we can actually reframe traumas without reliving them. Mm-hmm. We can reframe traumas to have the memory is still present, but the emotional attachment is let go. Mm-hmm. And so this present moment allows us to stay calm, stay grounded, and experience exactly what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. And the idea of the present moment is to simply accept what is, mm-hmm. period. Simply to accept mm-hmm. what is.
Yeah, because when you're saying about the power of the present moment and peace in the present moment, then there's also the present moment where maybe you're next to that coworker that drives you crazy, or sometimes the present moment,
or the spouse that drives her crazy.
Yeah, sometimes the present moment is hard as well, and that's where he was talking about the acceptance part. You just have to also, if you kind of let go and just accept it and get rid of your own narrative and emotions towards it, then you can still find peace in that present moment, even if you have that negative coworker maybe that keeps, talking in your ear, or, maybe your dogs are barking, or your kids are crying, your house is disaster. But yeah, I'm not speaking from experience.
No,
right?
Wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about. And by the way, it's not her coworker that makes her crazy, it's her spouse.
Yeah.
She's trying to be nice to me.
No coworker. Not you, Ashley. And this is kombucha. It's not a mimosa.
So here's the interesting thing. We are all really into, my diet. Oh, it's my diet. I got to get my diet right. And I better take my supplements. And oh my goodness, I better exercise and mm-hmm. better do all this stuff. I should. You got should all over you. And all those things are good. Mm-hmm. But those are the inputs. Mm-hmm. Those are the inputs. The operating system is the present moment. And if you're stressed, so we've talked about this a lot, but what you think about what you're doing in some ways is more important than what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So there's studies that show that what you think a food is going to do to your blood sugar or whatever is what it's going to do.
Is what it ends up doing.
Yeah. So if you're thinking, oh, this food, I shouldn't eat this. This is terrible. Oh, my goodness. But it looks so good. I better eat it.
And then you're guilty afterwards.
And then you feel guilty and you feel awful and you release cortisol, which raises your blood sugar and yada, yada. Instead, being in the present moment actually calms down your fight or flight system, your sympathetic autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic autonomic nervous system is the nervous system is active when you're all churned up. And it actually shuts off your prefrontal cortex. And that's where you make good decisions. That's the executive function center. And so it makes delaying gratification more difficult. It makes it harder to say no to that cookie. It makes it harder to do a lot of the things that we know we should do because we want to feel good right now. And maybe that cookie will help us feel right now. But the truth is, if you don't feel good right now, it's more likely that it's because there's a hole in your soul that a cookie won't fill. And so eating that cookie feels good for that nanosecond, but it doesn't, but then you need another cookie and another cookie and another cookie, whatever the cookie is, right? It doesn't have to be a cookie. But if you slow down just for a moment, a few times a day to this present moment, and maybe make a mantra for yourself about gratitude and grace and forgiveness and joy and love, suddenly, and put a little smile on your face. You remember the other day we were talking about how there's actually more information coming from the body to the brain than there is from the brain to the body. Put a little smile on your face. It actually changes your neurochemistry. And just bathe yourself in the light of grace. Bathe yourself in gratitude. Bathe yourself in joy and love with a little smile on your face. It changes you. It changes your neurochemistry.
Instantly.
Instantly. Yeah.
Instantly.
Well, maybe not quite instantly because you have to practice to be able to get to that present moment. Because usually when you start meditating, you start trying to get there, it's like, oh, this is a waste of time. Oh my God, what about my checkbook? I better get, I have so many things to do. I just shouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, but then eventually, after you've been in practice for a long time, just like anything else, it is a muscle memory. And, pretty instantaneously, I can turn my mood around. But there's still that fight of sometimes when you're in that emotion, it's like an addictive emotion, and you don't want to turn it off. Even though you have the power to turn it off.
The emotion of I am right. It's a powerful emotion, right? It's a powerful mindset. And I'm very guilty of that emotion. And if you get stuck in that, suddenly it's really hard to relax your mind and just let go of things. Because being right, that's not very important. It really isn't.
And I guess mine is more like I am valid. Like this feeling I'm feeling is valid. So I should be able to feel it. I'm valid. And you could still be valid without, it's more of a, I don't know, almost like I'm not torturing myself, not the right word, but I'm creating and staying in that feeling that doesn't feel good. So why would I want to do that to myself?
Because on some level it does feel good. Yeah. There's on some level, in a perverse way, it does feel good. It feels good to rail against the machine.
Yeah, and some of us are addicted to stress and commotion.
Most of us. And
busyness. And, chronic stress is a reason why a lot of our patients get to us. Chronic stress increases your risk of autoimmune disorders because it's that chronic inflammation all the time.
And it sounds so, in your head, right? Oh, so what you're saying is that illness is just in my head? My Lyme disease, my rheumatoid arthritis, my, cancer, my whatever, it's just in my head? No, of course not. But it's a major contributing factor. In fact,
just like it's not all food's fault.
Right.
Just like it, not because you're not active enough. these all go together, right? But the mindfulness piece, the be here now piece, the present moment piece, I think is underestimated to the power of it. So that's why we really wanted to dive into the power of the present moment, the power of mindfulness, the power of meditation.
If you think just for a moment about all the organs in your body, you know, certainly they all are important. I think maybe a year ago I told a story that my physiology professor told about the mind and the heart are having a debate about which is the most important, and the mind is talking about how he's the seat, or he or she is the seat of consciousness, and being, you know, hoity-toity about it. And the heart says, yes, but I'm the seat of passion. And they're having this debate, and finally the rectum pipes up and says, well, you guys can talk all you want, but neither one of you can work without me. And they go, don't be ridiculous, don't be ridiculous, don't be an asshole. The rectum. Anyway, so finally the rectum just shuts off, and all of the toxins are building up, and the brain and the heart are coughing, and finally they say, oh, okay, fine, right, you're important too. All of our organs are important, but when you think about power to control, that is the brain's job, and it's influenced by many aspects of our physiology. Our heart has a major impact. The heart has a much more powerful electromagnetic field than the brain, so there is control and communication between the brain and the heart. But nonetheless, the brain is really a switching and control system. And so if you start to think about that, and you start to think about how the brain, thoughts in your brain, just thoughts, can release cortisol, can put you into fight or flight, can result in shutting down your immune system and upregulating inflammation and toxins and all kinds of terrible things. It suddenly becomes very obvious that the brain is really important to have a healthy mind. And being constantly in fight or flight, constantly chasing the next thing, isn't a healthy mind. That doesn't mean that you should just, climb into a cave. It simply means being mindful about the movement forward instead of being frantic about it. So, there you go, a double so.
Yeah. So we're about 13 minutes in, so I want to wrap up with maybe leave you guys with a few action steps.
There you go.
Because we can educate all day long, and that's important, but unless you know how as well, it doesn't do you much good, right? So I guess I feel my biggest action step is my breath. Because when I'm really overwhelmed and I find my thoughts fleeting, past, future, if I concentrate on my breath, take a deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then release, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I feel that's the only thing I can think of. I'm really immersed in the moment. The breath work helps to also balance my autonomic nervous system. And that longer exhale is also parasympathetic. So that's why it's the 4 in, hold for 4, and then release for 6. And that backwards counting just helps to focus. So for me, that's my biggest action step. Step number 2 is going outdoors, which I'm really excited because we're about to do that. We're going to go on a nice hike today.
We may even do another live. If we can get signal out on outside, we might do another short live. We'll see.
Otherwise, we'll take pictures.
We'll take pictures and share, yeah. Mm-hmm. So here's the interesting thing about breath. It is the only obvious connection that we have between the conscious and the subconscious mind. It's very easy to just say, I'm going to hold my breath, or I'm going to count in for 4 and hold for 4 and out for 6. That's easy. Try doing that with your heart. I'm just going to slow down my heart. I'm going to slow down my digestion, or I'm going to, whatever. That's harder. So it's an obvious place where you have a connection between your conscious and subconscious mind. And that's why breath is so powerful.
And it slows down those others that he was just talking about.
Exactly, it does, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. And
Hopefully you found it helpful.
yep. And we will maybe see you later today. For sure, we'll see you Friday. And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.